everyone. So, as promised, I came back with the week one from the book The Artist's Way, and this week one was all about recovering a sense of safety. I wasn't prepared for how deeply it would resonate with me. It was hard to realize that I never truly felt safe to create, and I have the feeling that I'm not the only one. I'm here to share some insights, and it's basically just me thinking out loud, and maybe you can have some insights too about recovering the sense of safety to unblock your creativity. So, I didn't actually grow up surrounded by the love you might expect. I actually grew up with a lot of neglect, critics, and trauma. The only true love that I received was from gifts, from toys. While my parents were always working, they were always building the future without being present in the now, present while I was growing up. Even then, when I was a little girl, I was always at their workplace, and I would find an empty room and I would put loud music and I would sing and dance and perform. I would pretend that I was on stage with the dancers and the fans screaming and the lights, and those moments were truly magical. Those were the moments where I felt happy, I felt whole. But that's what art has always been for me, like a secret in loud silent rooms, always hidden, you know? It wasn't love that encouraged risk back then. Every time I showed a spark of interest in art, the question would always come up. That's nice, but how are you going to make a living from it? Even when my family did support me, it was rare, but it happened. That support always felt conditional. They were always waiting for the results, for profit, from proof. And that isn't fair, because art doesn't begin with proof. It begins with a flicker of curiosity. I didn't need someone to make me famous. I needed someone telling me that it was okay to try. It's okay to dream. It's okay to pursue your dreams. I always dreamed of being a pop star. My biggest role model was always Britney Spears, and always dreamed of being a pop star, singer, a songwriter, but not exactly because of the fame or the money, but to be able to express everything that I needed to say and people wouldn't allow me to do, and to find people who think the same and feel the same. Like I think that the most appealing thing for me from becoming famous is the support of the fans. So yeah, I guess I was always looking to be able to express what I'm feeling and see that people also do feel the same. And I didn't even think about university till the last minute. I grew up actually believing that at any moment it would become true. I would become a pop star. Somehow I would have a magical fairy godmother who would make this dream come true. I couldn't even bring myself to choose another job or a course at university. So at the very last minute, I forced myself to decide something. It was like that, because for me there was always only one option. Like, it was so serious for me that I basically created a whole parallel universe in my mind where I was a pop star. I would do tours and interviews and release songs and release albums and have fans and everything. It was very serious for me. Like, I would have a lot of Excel sheets with tour dates and cities, stadiums. I would be in the cover of my albums and planning the whole era, and I spent most of those years actually living the life of a pop star in my mind. Yeah, like it was my own private place where I could be my true self, who I always wanted to be, where I could actually be free to create, to express. It was basically my daydreaming, but it was the only place that my art could exist, and it actually helped me to stay alive for all those years. It maybe not the healthiest coping mechanism, but it helped me a lot with my depression and bullying and all those things while growing up. So I'm actually very thankful for creating that world in my mind. Meanwhile, in the real world, I was what the book The Artist's Way called a shadow artist. Does that sound familiar to you? The shadow artist is the person behind the scenes, the one always supporting other people's dreams, but not given permission to follow their own dreams. I was everyone's cheerleader, basically. Whenever someone around me showed any interest in art, or even mentioned an artistic dream, I would get so excited, and I would encourage them all the time. Like when my best friend at school sang or mentioned about becoming a singer or an actress, become a Disney star or anything like that, I would always support her. I would make it the meaning of my life to praise her and encourage her and always be there for her, saying, oh, you should do that, you sing so well, you actually can do it. I would always be there showing support. I was really a cheerleader, and I would do that for a lot of people, not only my friends but also some family members. Even when it became like thing to post online and create content, I would always support them to post their work and create content, always cheering for them, making sure they didn't give up. They always trying to make them do that first step and go after their dreams. And the saddest thing is that I always did that because I couldn't chase my dreams. And I'm a true believer that you should treat people the way you'd like to be treated. And that's what I did, and that's why I did all that also. That I was doing exactly what I wished that someone would do for me. But I never really had that. No one ever truly supported my art or my dreams. Not family, not friends, not at all. I have always been the biggest fan for everyone, but not for my own. I've always been everyone's biggest fan, but I forgot to be my own, and that was my biggest mistake. I had to find that support, that fire inside of me, and learning that the external validation doesn't really matter. And that is so hard to learn, especially when you are pathological teacher. So that's extremely hard. Oh, they say art won't pay your bills. I heard that so many times that it became my own inner voice. Not just that, I internalized a lot of criticism. I had so many negative beliefs surrounding art and expressing, because I heard a lot of critics while I was growing up, and those critics became my own inner voice. Even when people around me wasn't criticizing anymore, I kept criticizing myself all the time in my head. I was always my worst enemy, always. And I know that a lot of times art won't pay. The economy does kill artists, not because they lack talent, just because they become too tired, too scared, too broke to keep going. That's so sad. And when people say, oh, just be realistic, they're just saying, don't dream so big, don't take too much space, don't be weird, just accept that life is this way. Who do you think you are for trying to become an artist or stuff like that? But being a pessimist isn't being realistic. It's just fear disguised as wisdom. They probably had dreams and they didn't follow, and they got frustrated, so they try to keep you from chasing yours. Most of people who do criticize you for trying to become an artist or pursuing your dreams or developing your creativity, most of these people are just frustrated because they weren't able to chase their own dream. They don't have the courage to express themselves, to be creative. So I internalized it so much that, like I said, it became my own inner voice, and that would stop me from doing anything creative or artistic, of expressing myself in any way. Like, I would delete my songs, my poems, my drawings. I became my biggest enemy. Like, I know that sounds cliche, but that's true. Even when no one else around me was saying those things, I kept saying those things to myself. And that would also keep me from writing, from singing, from doing anything artistic. You know, I would get so embarrassed that completely stopped me. Completely. I got so scared to try to do anything artistic, and I spent a lot of years lost in that fear, being a hostage to those thoughts, to those inner critics. So in this week, worked that a lot. I actually have been working in those negative beliefs that were stuck in my brain for the last couple of years. It has been really hard because I realized how they became a part of me. They became me, actually. It's so deep. I had to learn to be patient with myself, taking care of myself, loving myself. It was such a hard work, but it was so worth it. And in that process, I had a hard time allowing myself to try to be a beginner, to find my creativity again, and everything needed to be perfect since the first try. You know, if I wrote a song and it wasn't perfect from the first time, I would delete it, so frustrated, and I would give up. But it's impossible to get better and be perfect at the same time. Remember that. Healing is messy. Creativity is messy. You have to grant yourself the grace to be a beginner, because I was stuck and quiet, and I lost my own voice. I lost the ability to express myself for so many years that I had to start all over. So it is a process, and step by step I had to learn to allow myself to be bad, because this new beginning, it is like this. It's like being a beginner again. It's like learning to be myself again, learning to express myself, to who I really am as an artist again. And that's what I'm learning now. I'm learning to create without apology. I spent so many years being cruel to myself. I always thought that being humble was hiding your light. Saying the words "I'm good at this" felt arrogant, like a truth I wasn't allowed to own, like it was something so bad to say that you're good at something, but to have some type of confidence, because while growing up my confidence was completely destroyed. Even now it's hard to say I'm an artist. There's still this voice that whispers, who do you think you are? Why you're being too emotional? Why are you making such a drama? Who do you think you are to say that you're an artist? But I've learned that that voice isn't mine. It's an echo of other people's fears. An echo I kept repeating to myself. Now, when that voice shows up, I have an answer. I am someone who's finally trying. I gave myself permission to try. I am allowing myself to try. And I decided that I was ready to try. That was something that had to come from myself. It had to come from me, to take this first step and say, okay, I'm doing the work, I'm healing, I'm trying, and I think that it's time to actually do it, to do something about it, to allow my creativity to bloom again, and to find myself, and learn to express myself without fear. But it's impossible to not have fear. Actually, I'm pretty scared right now, but courage is in the absence of fear, so that's also something that I've been learning, to do things even while I'm scared. So yeah, a lot of healing is happening. So learning to create again, it's like learning to walk. It's awkward, it's vulnerable, it's weird, but it's free. This first week taught me that art isn't a luxury. It's a form of survival. And creative safety doesn't mean comfortable. It means permission. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm giving myself permission to try, permission to be new, to be messy, and I'm giving that permission to you too. If you ever felt like you are a shadow artist, you are that cheerleader that are always supporting everyone because you're too afraid to follow your own dreams and support yourself. You know that you don't need anyone to give you that permission. You can be your own cheerleader, you can support yourself, and decided when you are ready to try, and I think you are. If you are watching this video, I think you are. And yeah, let's be messy, let's be bad, let's be vulnerable, let's create, let's express. That's art, and art is magical, creating is magical, creativity is magical. So let's do it. Come with me, let's do it. I hope this video gave you some insights, some inspiration for you to fight those negative beliefs that other people made you believe, and know that it's never too late to try to heal, to try to change, to be yourself, to get inspired, to inspire others. And if you ever feel like you were the quiet one who always felt too much, that feels everything so loud, you're not too much. You have to be willing to be bad, to be messy, to make mistakes. Oh my god, how hard it was to learn to make mistakes, to allow myself to make mistakes. And that's okay, that's okay. So that's it for this week. I hope to see you again to week 2 next week. Let's create, let's express ourselves, let's try, let's do it. And thank you so much for watching this video, for hearing me, for being on this journey with me. And you can leave a comment saying how are you feeling, if you are a shadow artist, if you know any shadow artists, if you're trying to create something, let me know. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.